One of the most basic and useful set pieces you can make is a platform. A platform is a fixed walking surface that is made from standard, readily available materials. As a versatile piece, platforms can be used in a variety of ways, and making them makes sets more interesting to look at because action could be happening at different levels. In addition to the visual appeal that this piece adds, using platforms increases the acting space and is an absolute necessity in some shows. In this video, I'll review the basics of making platforms and show some examples of how they're used in our production of In the Heights. I'll also give you as much real terminology as I can when it comes to working with these materials and procedures. So pay close attention to the screen because I'll highlight these terms for you here. Right here, right there. So to start, platforms are typically made in a few standard sizes, and doing this makes them versatile to use. So now that you know the sizes that they come in, we're going to move on to their anatomy and assembly. Each platform is made of 3 parts: a lid, a frame, and legs. The frame is the part that gives the platform its structure, and the lid is the part that the leg and lid attach to. The legs give the platform its height, whatever you choose that to be, and the lid is the walking surface. When we want to make a 4 foot by 8 foot platform that is 3 feet high, we're going to need the following materials.
2 8-foot pieces of 2x4 lumber. 5 3-foot 9-inch pieces of 2x4 lumber. 6 3-foot pieces of 2x4 lumber. 1 4-foot by 8-foot piece of 3/4 inch plywood. 12 3.5 inch carrot bolt. 3/8 or 5/16 diameter bolt should be fine. 12 nuts. 12 washers.
Additionally, you should have the following tools to work with as well.
A circular saw or compound miter saw to cut down the 2x4s. A drill. A Phillips head bit. A standard drill bit.
What I like to do is I like to lay out my materials in the way that they're going to be assembled.
So, I would place the pieces of wood for the frame, which are the 2 8-foot pieces, and the 5 3-foot 9-inch pieces, which I'll call the almost 4-foot pieces, like this.
The reason why we cut our cross braces to 3 foot 9 inches instead of 4 feet, which is the one dimension of our platform, is because of the way that they're attached. Our shorter pieces are perpendicularly butt jointed to our long pieces. What's a butt joint? Well, a butt joint is a type of joinery technique where 2 pieces of wood are butted together, and the flatter the faces are attached, the more secure it is. To further explain the math, we're going to need to understand the true dimensions of a 2x4. The typical 2x4 is that nominally, which means that it's 2x4 in name only. When the wood is initially processed from the tree, it is roughly cut to 2 inches by 4 inches. When it is finally milled to have a smooth surface, 1/4 inch is taken off on all the faces. So the actual dimensions of the wood that we're going to get is 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So make sure to keep this in mind when you're making your calculations because you want to make sure all your math adds up.
With your 3-inch screws.
When attaching everything together, please remember that all of your connections should be square at 90 degrees, meaning that your 8-foot piece should be exactly perpendicular to the almost 4-foot pieces. Squarely attached and properly screwed in, your frame should be solid and ready for the next step. At this point, your frame should measure 4 feet by 8 feet, the same dimensions as your plywood lid. The 3/4 inch piece of plywood should then be positioned to be directly on top of your frame and attached using the smaller drywall screws. Make sure you spread the screws out so when you connect your lid to the frame to ensure that there's no movement of the plywood as those actors rub across your platform. Now that you have one platform, Feel free to make a few more and bolt them together to make beautiful, long walkways that your actors could walk on. If you need to make very high platforms, so that's ones that are higher than 4 feet in the air, I would recommend using 4x4 lumber instead of 2x4 lumber that we used here. They will have a bigger footprint and provide a much sturdier walkway. In the show In the Heights, I have a variety of platforms. I have a 2-foot high platform as well as an 8-foot high platform. And in the next video, I am going to show you how I made the thrust for our stage. This is another platform job, but it's a little bit different. So if you're interested, be sure to tune in. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them below or contact me via email. So, until next time.